friends, welcome back to my channel. I don't know if you know this or not, but 2021 is right around the corner, which means I need to pick the palette that I want to pan. For clarification purposes, my intentions when I choose my pan that palette for the next year, my plan is to pan every shadow. Like that is my goal, to have all pan showing by the end of the year. I'm not just aiming to hit pan, and I want to be clear on that because I've had varying comments, some people saying like, I really hope you pan something and I just want to hit pan. Girl, trust me, I want to quite literally use up the entire shade. I feel strongly about that because oftentimes after investing a whole year into a palette, I'm either sick of it or it tends to start to err on the going off side because I have used it so aggressively for that entire year. So that's why I don't find myself wanting just to hit pan, because I know that when the year is over, I'm less apt to keep that palette, especially if I'm not gonna keep working on it for a second year. So for this video, for this project, I have 3 candidates that I have different pros and cons for that I wanna walk through with you guys to help sort of get clarity for myself, but also to hopefully get some feedback from you so that you can sort of help swing me one way or the other, because I feel very torn with all 3 of them. So let's go ahead and start with the first one on my horizons. The first one that I have is from ColourPop. This is the Fame Shadow Palette. You guys, I got this palette last year and I freaking love it. This palette I feel like is a treat palette. It's a special occasion palette. I've pulled it out anytime I've wanted like a guaranteed lovely eye look. This is what I go for. I also like this palette because it has everything in it. I don't have to pull, at this moment, I'd have to pull nothing else out of my collection to use it. It has multiple shades that can serve in like that cream capacity. It has tons of mattes that I could use in my crease. It has lots of shimmers, which you guys know I love. I am not guaranteeing that I will keep Blase or Lifestyle in here because I haven't used them enough. But aside from that, like this is one of the few palettes I have that is very much intact top to bottom. The couple of concerns I have for this is that it is very one note. I feel like all roads lead to very similar eye looks. So I don't know if I would still drool over this palette the way I do right now if I were using it at least 5 days a week. So I'm not quite sure there. It also has a lot of product in here. The total number of grams is over 16, which is quite a bit. So I also don't know if I could use this up in an entire year, especially considering the fact that I don't have any pan showing right now. It is relatively new in the sense that it's not as used as some other palettes in my collection, but isn't she lovely? I do think she is. So she's definitely a contender in the 2021 panning project. My second contender is actually one that was in the running last year. Go ahead and make a guess which one you think it is before I reveal it. Okay, let's do this. It is the Lorac Pirates of the Caribbean palette. Oh, you guys, here are some initial thoughts. Do I really want to, for the 3rd time in a row, which would actually be the 4th year in a row, pick a Lorac palette? Is that to one brand? Who knows? The other thought I have here is that I didn't pick it last year, so why is it suddenly worthy this year? But I gotta tell you, secrets, I didn't forget about this palette all year. I like pulled her out a bunch and I was really compelled as I started to think about the project for the upcoming year. This palette kept coming to mind and I actually have played with it a bunch. You'll notice compared to the last time I showed it to you, there are 3 shadows that I have blacked out. I have these 2 here and I have this one that I blacked out, and I'm not ruling out getting rid of a couple more. In my like trials and tribulations, that's where I like got rid of some of those. The other thing I will say that's to its advantage is it's a big palette, and I have appreciated getting use and being able to get rid of big palettes in my collection. This thing just takes up a lot of space. I mean, it's just a very thick, bulky palette. I will say though that I do like the colors in here, and I do like the variety that it provides. You know, I definitely can go cool and neutral. I can go a little bit warmer. And I know that I like the Lorac formulation because every year for the last 3 years, I have been working on a Lorac palette, and it's just my fave. So a lot of advantages to this, but again, it's big. It's got 12 grams. Now it's got less than that because I have popped out some of the shades, and I definitely Might pop out a couple of more. Again, I'm not guaranteeing that I wouldn't, but similar to the ColourPop palette, I don't have any pan showing on any of these, so I am very much starting from a position of relatively new in the sense that it's not super used and I don't have huge dips, but I do also have everything I need. Like I've got that white in here, so I wouldn't have to pull in at this point any other palettes to make this totally stand alone. So pros and cons, we'll see where we go. The last palette option that I have is one that I built. Ooh, my friends, if you haven't watched that video and you're curious to know how I got to where I got, go ahead and watch that. I've never built my own palette before. Truthfully, it's always kind of overwhelmed me and hasn't really appealed to me. But when I finally sat down and did it, I actually enjoyed it. I can't see myself doing it a ton, like constantly sitting down and making my own palettes. It's not my wheelhouse of expertise, but I'm pleased with what I made. So this is what she looks like. I have a combination of different brands up in here. I've got Sephora, I've got that big kahuna in here. I have a Clionadh Cosmetics, good old Natasha Denona made it in here. I've got some ColourPop, some Sydney Grace. I've got some Lorac, she's always around. I have an e.l.f. shade, Too Faced, like lots of different brands in here. I have no idea, truthfully, if I would love this all year round. Some of you have noted that it is very much of like a wintry palette, which is true. It's very cool leaning, which I'm not surprised by because I know that I gravitate in my heart to cool tones, but the world hasn't allowed me to shine in all my coolness because the world has been very warm in the cosmetics industry for quite some time. So I definitely think that I would like this. There aren't a lot of mattes. There are just 2 mattes in here, so that could be good, it could be bad. I really just don't know how far I'll get with this or what it would look like. The only thing I know for certain is that similar to other project years, if I did wipe out a shadow, I might feel inclined to bring something else in. I don't know though, I think it would depend on what I have left. I think if it were a matte, I'd have to bring something in order for me to survive, but otherwise, I don't know what this would look like. And most of these shades are pretty brand new. So I'm starting again very much from a position of I need to work hard to get through them. So there you have it. Those are my 3 contenders. I would love to know your thoughts, your suggestions. I'd also be curious to know if you have the 2 pre-made palettes that I have and if that would be of interest for you to see me try to pan it. Either way, I'm very excited for the upcoming year and I really hope to completely use up whichever palette that I do in fact pick. As always, thank you for watching and I hope that you have a fabulous